Hi, I'm Mike Simpson, Superintendent of Guthrie Public Schools, and today on Chalk Talk, we're joined by Sergeant Anthony Gibbs of the Guthrie Police Department. Anthony is an SRO, or School Resource Officer, and Anthony's been with the police department and the schools for a number of years. We wanted to talk a little bit today about school safety, security, some of the things that you've seen that have changed over the years, and the things that we're doing on a daily basis to keep our kids safe. So tell me, first of all, how long have you been doing this? Because I know you've been here at least as long as I've been here, and which is 7 years. And then let's talk a little bit about some of the changes that have gone on.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. And yes, there has been quite a few changes, especially here recently. But I guess history for me, this is beginning my 16th year here with the city, and about half that has been in the schools. And I've enjoyed a great relationship with you and with all the other administrators. It's been amazing. Here recently, what I think is probably one of the best partnerships that a police department could enjoy with a school is what we have. And because of that, you see all these amazing changes that have taken place. Most recently, not only, our partnership has increased. The Logan County Sheriff's Department has come alongside us, and they have added 3 school resource officers, 3 full-time school resource officers, along with our 3 school resource officers. In addition to that, we have at least that many more part-time that will be in other facilities. And what that looks like, each school resource officer has a primary and a secondary facility that they are at, and then our part-time school resource officers also supplement that. And as you and I have talked about many times, I don't think there's a way to make a school safer than to put a police officer in uniform with a patrol car, all radios and everything that they have available at their disposal, every tool that they have in there with the students. It gives the students and the parents a peace of mind, along with the administrators, and then there's someone to go to if there's ever an issue, and we have that available to them. In addition to that, some of the physical site security things that we've put in place, or that you've put in place, one is we've got a tremendous amount of cameras now. And those camera feeds can be viewed remotely by the police department or by any school resource officer. So they can look into and down the halls, even when they have to be sitting in their office, maybe doing a report. They can also check it via a mobile device if they need to, if they're at another facility and they want to pull up and look at, say, Central Elementary. Pull that up and go through. Each of the doors now are locked with security locks that also have cameras. So anytime you come to a door and you want in, you have to push the button, that camera immediately is activated, and not only can the school resource officer, but any secretary, anybody that has access to those doors can also watch those cameras. Along with that, there's audio feeds. So you also get a little bit of extra there, and I know in my office specifically, I like to have that on scrolling so that I can actually hear what's going on the outside of the building as it goes from one camera to the other. It's amazing. And then on those entrances, the school has numbered each entrance for quick and easy access. And we recently, if I can kind of brag on one of our school resource officers, Officer Williams was recently honored with his 4th, I think, life-saving award. Most of those have been from times where there's been an emergency that a child has had, and he's been able to help out and literally save a life. And it's great to be able to let medical personnel know exactly where that entrance is is going to be. I need you in entrance number 9, which is on the east side of the building. It's very clearly marked, and they can go right to it. You guys have allowed us and opened up facilities and allowed us to train. And just a short while ago over the summer, we hosted a Train the Trainer course for the absolute latest in active shooter responses, or active attacker responses. And that latest training incorporates medical personnel. So it was open to every fire department and every police department in the entire county. And I can say that we were actually able to train through those subsequent classes after the Train the Trainer course. More than half, well more than half of the personnel, all of the police department, all of the fire departments within the county, and so that makes any type of event that we don't ever want to think about, but any type of event just that much safer. So once that event is reached its conclusion, if there are anybody that's injured, then we can immediately get life-saving help into them as quickly as humanly possible. And so that, again, that partnership between the school, the police department, and the sheriff's department has been amazing. Without that, none of this would be possible. And of course, that makes it makes it tremendously safer for any person that steps onto that site. And then two, though, for me as a parent, I know it makes me feel so much better to know that any school in our district, if any law enforcement officer shows up, anything happens, they already have the plans in place. Thought has already been put forth to try to mitigate those things, to make it just as safe as possible.
Well, the philosophy that I've always employed in school is that in order to educate them, they have to feel safe. When I got here 7 years ago, I was very thankful that the district had already, and the community had already put enough resources in to provide you on our campus. The partnership that we've enjoyed with the City of Guthrie and now the Logan County Sheriff's Office has really been tremendous for the whole community to feel better about where we are as a school district and about their kids. Thinking back to those early days and how far we've come, you mentioned the video equipment that we have and the capabilities that we have now. That was funded through a bond issue with community dollars, and you're right. I can have my iPad, and I can see those cameras even if I'm not in my office, and I can see those cameras in my office as well. I think we've already used that to capture and apprehend people that have committed crimes on our campus as well. So that's a real bonus. Talk about some of the positive things that the school resource officers get to do in our schools with our students too.
Oh, absolutely. With the addition of those extra school resource officers, and like you said in the beginning, it was kind of daunting to have 6 or 7 school facilities and then try to make that relationship and try to spread that out. But now that we have those additional school resource officers, that means that if Fogarty calls for an assembly like they had and say, we'd like you to come over and talk about this topic, then there is always a school resource officer available that can do that. And we'll go in and gosh, just read to kids, on a book. It doesn't even have to be about law enforcement. Just the fact that they can see that, hey, a school resource officer or a police officer cares about you. It's a little frustrating when you're, at the mall and you're in uniform, or say at the Walmart or something, and a parent comes up and says, hey, you see that officer right there? He'll, if you mess up, he's gonna arrest you. Because then the kiddos think, hey, I need to be afraid of the police. They're not your friend. They're not here to help you. You can't go to them in time of need. But in this case, when a school resource officer can come in the classroom, sit down with the kids, play with them, talk to them, read a book, then they say, hey, this is approachable. This is somebody that I can go to if I ever have a problem. If something's wrong, I can talk to them. If I see something out of place, I can go and talk to them. And you and I know there's been many times that because of that development of that relationship, those kids have been able to come and tell us things that we would have never known about. We would have never been able to deal with. And and that just increased, it may have been an issue at home that we were able to deal with, and then help that entire family get onto a more healthy path, up to, a school safety issue. And so we've been very blessed to be able to, again, with the extra personnel, to go in and do that. So we can talk to just a classroom, or say, for instance, a junior high health fair, where you've got a school resource officer that will teach all day for 2 full days over generally just, it's applicable to whatever is going on necessarily at that time. And in this case, it'll be kind of anti-drug training, but also with a focus on building that child's worth. We always want, anytime, any interaction the school resource officer has, we want to end with, hey, you know what, you're valuable, and you can do this, and I expect you to do this, and then try to point them towards what that kind of is going to be for the purpose in their life. It's like, hey, listen, all these things that you're working towards, even if they're character related, even if it's just treating your teacher right, treating your classmates right, that's going to pay off later on in life, and this is where. And so having just another person, other than, the great teachers and staff that we have, great administrators, to have a police officer come alongside that and supplement it. That's really what the school resource officer strives to do, is just to be, basically a resource to the kiddos, to the parents, and to the staff.
We're very thankful for what you do for our district and what all of the officers of Guthrie Police Department and Logan County Sheriff's Office do for our district. It's a daunting task, as you said, but we are trying to every year make advances in things so that we can provide the safest environment possible so that education, quality education, can happen in the classroom.
Absolutely.
So Sergeant Gibbs, thank you for what you do for Guthrie Public Schools, and thank you for what you do for the community of Guthrie.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm Mike Simpson with Chalk Talk. Thanks for joining us.